Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. It's Ro, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a tutorial of how I made that spooky TV box that I have already posted over on my Instagram. So let's hop into it. We will start off by cutting some papers, and this will be 5.5 by 8.5. So you will need two of this, and you put one to the side because we are going to work on the front of the TV box first. As for the paper collection that I'm going to be using to make this TV box, I used a lot of die cuts with a view from last year. It's a mix of different collections that I thought would match with each other. So yeah, I'm not sure if it's still available. I know it was on clearance a few weeks back, but if I can find it, I will link it down below. As for the metal dies, I didn't really use that many. It's just for the decoration. So whatever I'm gonna be using, the dies, I will also link that down below. Okay, so let's start off with the first 5 by 5, 5.5 I mean. So that's 5.5 by 8.5. And then what you're gonna do is you will be scoring 0.5 on all sides. And then you switch it back to the longer side, the 8.5. And then you are going to score an extra 0.5 on three sides. Extra 0.5 meaning that's going to be a 1 inch mark. And then on the fourth side, which is going to be on the 8.5 side, you are going to score an extra 1.5, which means that's going to be at 2 inches. So again, you start with 0.5 and 1 score marks on three sides, and then 0.5 and 2 on the fourth side, which is going to be on the longer side. I hope that that's clear. Up next, as you can see, I know I should have used a white paper, but you can quite clearly see the innermost square that you made using with all the score marks. You're going to cut that out so you make a frame after you cut it. Once you cut the inner square, this is what you will have. So that's going to be the TV screen for our box. So there's that. And then the outermost score mark, the 0.5, that will be our flaps. So we will have to fold and do some snips. Put that front part to the side, and let's take our second 5.5 by 8.5, and then all you need to do is score 0.5 on all four sides. Fold the flaps and then do some snips and put those to the side. Up next, we are going to cut a few more papers. So you are going to need two 2 by 4 and two 2 by 5.5, and then you will score those at 0.5. Those are all 0.5 inches apart, and then you are just going to fold everything, fold all those score marks, because that's going to be our shaker part. Once you're done folding all fours, put those to the side. And then next, we are going to grab a piece of acetate or any like harder plastic that you can use to make your shaker piece. That's going to be stuck there. You glue it down or you sew it, and then once you did that, you are going to put those 4 pieces of kind of like stick, the frames. You're going to put those onto the corners of that TV screen, because again, those will be our shaker parts. Instead of using like the usual, we use like foam for this one because I want it thick. So I just use a regular cardstock to do that. So we will cover all 4 sides with those pieces of paper that we just folded. Once you're done gluing all 4 sides, we are going to put that to the side, and then let's cut another piece of cardstock, which will be our vellum piece. So this is going to be 4.5 by 6, and then you score 0.5 on 4 sides, and then you cut that inside, the inside marks, and then you will have the frame. So this is where we are going to put our vellum piece, and that will go on top of the 4 frames, 4 shaker parts that we just made. So here I already added the vellum piece, and that's how it's gonna look in the front. I already put the shaker bits, and then I glued the vellum piece to keep it shut so it doesn't the shaker pieces won't fall off. Up next, we are going to cut a bigger frame, and that is 6.5 by 4.5, score 0.5 all sides, and then you cut out the inner score marks, which will give you another frame. But this frame is going to be again bigger because this is going to cover the entire length of our TV box. So also, by putting that frame, it'll keep our vellum piece like intact. It's not gonna rip off. Up next, we are going to cut the roof and the base of our TV box, and for that you are going to need 2 pieces of 3 by 8.5. So this is the 8.5 by 3, and then you are going to score 0.5. So that's 0.5 score marks on all 4 sides, but the longer sides you are going to glue those flaps down, and you will be left with the shorter score marks. As you can see, I also matted them with printed cardstock, and usually for the mats I do 0.25 inch smaller. And then up next, you can see that I glued down those 2 pieces, the roof and the base, and now we are just going to glue the back piece, so we will have this box. Up next, we are going to make the sides of our TV. So for that, you are going to need one 4.5 by 2 and one 4.5 by 3. So the 4.5 by 2, you are going to score at 0.5 on the 2-inch side. And then we mat that too with printed cardstock. And then once we're done with that, we're going to glue that down. So the bigger piece is going to be glued onto the side that has the bigger margin. And then the smaller piece is going to be glued down on to the other side. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to do some snips on the flap, because I am going to glue that down. A bunch of the flaps that we're doing here aren't really necessary, but I like to keep the edges clean, which is why I do that. So here we are going to glue that 1.5 inch down. I am just gluing those flaps on the TV together just so it doesn't move. Once you're done gluing that piece, you can see that there are extra like flaps that you can see to the side. We are going to snip that and glue that down to the inside of our box. Again, cleaner edges, which is what we are trying to do here. Once we're done with that, this is what we have. We have all the four sides of our box done. And up next, we are going to make our drawer. And for that, we start off with 5.5 by 8.5. And then we are going to score at 5/8. 5/8 on all four sides. I'm not entirely sure why I scored 5/8, but I guess there's a reason for that, just so it's gonna fit inside the box. So again, that's 5.5 by 8.5, and you score at 5/8 on all four sides. And then after that, you are going to do some snips, and then we are going to fold those score lines, those flaps. And then we cut some mats, and here you can see I cut a strip of paper. I don't have the measurement for this, but just cut something that's long enough so if you fold it, you can still grab onto it, because this is going to be the pull for our drawer. Once you made that, you're going to cover the back piece of our drawer. You're going to sandwich that pull piece, the strip. Let's try it. And yeah, so I have no idea why when I was making this I did not do any other change. I guess I got lazy, so I didn't make any adjustments to the measurements. But this drawer is going to be a little bit smaller, a little bit shorter than what it's supposed to be. Anywho, up next, we are going to make the drawer sides, and for that, you are going to need two 8.25 by 2. You score at only on three sides. Up next, you are going to cut two pieces of 4.25 by 2. So that's 4.25 by 2, and then you score at 0.5 but only on one side. Mat those pieces with cardstock paper and sew or glue them down, and now you can put them together. So for this one, as you can see, I am going to glue down that extra flap, and again, clean edges. That's what we're going for here. So you do the same with the smaller pieces, and once you're done gluing those down, we can put the drawer piece together. Okay, so we are done with the drawer piece. So this is how it looks once it's put together. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the drawer piece is going to be smaller and shorter than what it's supposed to be. Here you can see that. So to fix this, what I did is I just added a flat back on the other end, just so it gives an extra height. And then I also decorated the other side with an ephemera plus foam tape. Next is going to be the base of our TV box. So we are going to need 8 by 8.5. You are going to score 0.5 on all four sides. And then a 8-inch side, you are going to score an extra 2.5, 5.5, and 7.5. So again, that's going to be 0.5 on all four sides, and then you switch to the 8-inch side and you score an extra 2.5, 5.5, and 7.5. Next, you are going to fold those score marks, and we are going to do some snips because we are going to make a box out of this piece. So this is what we have for now, and then let's start cutting some snips. Once you're done cutting the snips, that's how it's gonna look. And then we are going to need another 2 pieces, and this is going to be 3 by 2.5, so that's 3 by 2.5, and you're going to score 0.5 on the 2.5 inch side. Up next, let's glue those small pieces onto the bigger piece, and we make our box. I am so sorry that a lot of the times in this video I am off cam, but again, as I say in all my other videos, whenever I'm off cam, don't worry, you're not missing anything important. I'm just either gluing or looking at the project closer, but nothing important, so you're not missing anything. But that is after we put our pattern paper. And again, as I said earlier, if you are going to mat with pattern paper, they are going to be 0.25 inch smaller than where you are going to glue them on. And that's not including the flaps. Okay, the sides are glued now, and now we make our box. So we are going to glue all the flaps together. So after we put our pattern paper, we put the box together. And now we have this black piece, like black frame. You can leave it as is, but if you want to put a frame, so all you need to do is just measure that and then score 0.5 on all four sides and then cut out the inner square so you have the frame. And then you glue that down, and then the base of our TV box is done. So this is how it's gonna look like once you put our TV on top of the box. Off cam, I went ahead and did a little bit of decorating. So we have an ephemera piece there, and then I used the Scrap Diva Designs slider set to make that knob. And here we are going to make the antenna part. So you are going to need 1.5 by 9.5, and then you're going to score at 0.5, 2, 5, and 6.5 on the 9.5 side. And then you are going to also score at 0.5 on the on the 1.5 inch side. Ooh, that's a lot of numbers. Again, while I'm folding that, I'll say it again. So on the 9.5 inch side, you're going to score at 0.5, 2, 5, and 6.5. And then you switch that to the 1.5 inch side and you are going to score 0.5 twice. So that's 0.5 and then 1. And then you fold those score marks and then you do some snips so we can make the base of our antenna. We're going to do this because we need something for the antenna to hold on to so it doesn't fall over. And I didn't want to just stick the antenna onto the TV. So this is what this box, this square is for. Once you did all your snips, and then if you put that square together, this is how it's gonna look. And all we need to do is just to cut 2 more pieces of cardstock to cover the top and bottom of that square. And to do that, you need 2 pieces of 1.5 by 3. And then once you have that piece, those pieces of paper, just glue them down to the square. But here's the thing. Do not glue the other square yet because this antenna that I just I doodled onto a piece of cardstock. So you see here, that's a few, we have a few layers. And then that bottom piece, you are not going to glue that down together because we are going to insert that inside this square. And then to do that, you are just going to slice through that piece of square so you can insert the base of the antenna. So this is how it looks. I cut through the middle of that square, inserted that base of the antenna, and then open those flaps so you can glue those flaps to the side. One piece on the other side and one piece on the other side. That didn't make sense. But anyway, so once you glue that antenna piece onto the box, this is how it looks. I added those flowers onto the back so the antenna isn't going to be as flimsy. And then here we are just adding 4 drawer knobs to be the stand, to be like the feet of our TV box. And then last thing we need to do is to bring out our plastic hinges so we can put the 2 pieces of our TV box together. And then all you need to do is to glue those 2 pieces down onto the base, like the bottom box. So that's how it looks. And then the next is you are going to glue the top of our TV, the top piece of our TV. Right here, I am adding tea lights to the drawer piece that we made. I used Velcro dots to adhere them and not stick them directly so that if the lights go out, I can just like remove it and switch to a different one. Also, another thing that I did here is I cut a piece of die cut and then put acetate on the bottom, and then I'm going to stick that inside our TV. And then let's put the drawer back in with the lights on. And this is how it looks once the lights are inside. So it's better to see, if you'll see better at night, but this is how it looks right now. And then all we need to do is to decorate it and we're done. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will be adding a short clip of how this thing looks at night. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.